I wouldn't call it a spectacular disaster, but I wouldn't call it a spectacular success either. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Better late than never, I'm going to give you guys a BookTube-a-Thon 2017 wrap-up video. I did not read 7 books. I did not complete 7 challenges. So I'm just going to throw that out there right from the beginning so that nobody's disappointed. I started out very, very strong, and then I got derailed somewhere in the middle. And I'm pretty sure where I went wrong was when I made a TBR video. Because if you are familiar with my channel, you know you don't find a lot of TBR videos here. And that's mainly because the fastest way to make me not want to do something is to make me feel like I have to do something. I had the best of intentions, but the truth of the matter is I don't like to plan what books I'm going to read. I have a hard enough time with the arcs that I choose and making sure those get read on time. Like this was, no. So let me jump right in and tell you what I did and did not do. The first challenge was to read a book with a person on a cover, and that is the first challenge that I completed with the first book that I read. And to do so, I read Hundreds by Pepper Winters. And I was excited to read this book because I'd been waiting for this book. It is the 3rd book in a series, and obviously I've read books 1 and 2. Each book ends on a cliffhanger. So when I saw that this was coming out, I bought it, and then I think I was just in the middle of reading other things, so immediately I wanted to find a reason to read it during the BookTube-a-Thon. And I did, and I read it, and it was okay. It wasn't great. The first book in the series is by far, so far, the best. The thing about these books in the Dollars series by Pepper Winters is that the end of each book completely guts you. It's just the way that it goes. And that's what I found with this book in particular. There were some inconsistencies throughout, and it just didn't seem as solid as books 1 and 2. It seemed kind of like it was generating conflict when there didn't need to be conflict. There was some repetition, like I said, some inconsistency, but once again I got to the end and it got me. It tore me open. It emotionally devastating. That's all that I can say. So anyways, I read this book. It was over 300 pages, like 300 and I don't know, it was around 300 pages. And I managed to complete reading a book with a person on the cover. Yay. Okay, for reading a book outside, I had committed to reading Unholy Ghost, and I didn't. What I did read of it, I did read outside. However, you must understand, I only got like 30 pages into this book. I don't want to talk about it. For reading a hyped book, I said I was going to read Ready Player One, and instead of reading it, I decided to listen to the audiobook version because it made it possible for me to get more in for the week. However, I didn't finish it. I got to chapter 24. So I got the majority of the book completed, but I can't honestly say that I made it through a hyped book. I am enjoying what I've listened to thus far. I think it's a funny book. It's very nostalgic for me. The 80s is my decade, you know. I was born in 1980, so it's all of this stuff is very familiar. I'm a gamer. I like it. I like it a lot. I just was listening to it while I was working, and that week at work was, you know, like every other week at work, crazy. I had meetings, and I didn't think my boss would take very kindly to me sitting in meetings with my earbuds in, listening to Ready Player One. So I will finish it, though. I will, because I am thoroughly enjoying it. I read Bird Box. I read and completed Bird Box, which I posted a review about that book on. I wasn't super excited about it, and it didn't, unfortunately, really fulfill any challenge. it was one of the books that was rounding out my 7 for the week. So even though I read it, I can't be super happy about that because it didn't help me fulfill a challenge. So after reading Bird Box and kind of feeling meh about it, I started to feel meh about the rest of my TBR as well. And I went looking for something phenomenal to read. And I thought that I found the be-all end-all book, horror book. I thought after my disappointment with Bird Box, I was going to read a horror book that was going to be amazing. And the reason that I thought it was amazing was because everybody on Amazon and Goodreads raved about this book. They all warned that it was very intense subject matter, and I have to say it absolutely is. But everybody promised a really emotional, torturous ride, which is, something I like in my horror novels. And so I spent $15 to get Inferno by Yolanda Olson. This is a self-published work, and all I can say, ladies and gentlemen, is that I no longer have to look around for the worst book ever written because I read it. And that's going right in the trash as soon as this video is done. I hated it. So that's where it ended for me. That is where BookTube-a-Thon went straight into the toilet when I was let down so much by that book. I didn't stop reading. I didn't give up. I just needed to revert to my comfort zone. And we all have one, I'm sure. And when I turn to reading for comfort, there is 1 or 2 places I go. And there's one place that I go every time consistently. I had received the box set of my favorite authors series, Rock Chick, and I had read several of them prior to BookTube-a-Thon starting. So I just picked up where I left off and I reread books 6 and 7 through the end of BookTube-a-Thon. As far as I'm concerned, Rock Chick Reckoning, this is number 6. This is going to fulfill my read a book with somebody completely different than you challenge, because this book is the story of Stella, who is the lead singer in a rock band. And as much as I wish that was me, that's not me. I am not the lead singer of anything, and I only dream of being the lead singer of anything. So she's different from me, so congratulations to me. I did complete that challenge in a roundabout sort of way. And then, like I said, I also read book 7. I can't say that I read anything that I bought for the cover. I did not complete reading something outdoors. I did not complete reading 7 books, though I did read 5 to completion. The other thing about Inferno, that terrible book, it's laid out across 312 pages or something, but I went through and got an average, and it's only about 40,000 words. That's how even terrible the layout of this book is. And so I did complete that book in one day. So all in all, like I said, it wasn't a spectacular failure. It just wasn't a spectacular success. Next year, I can maybe manage my own expectations of myself a little bit better. Read shorter books, give myself space to change my mind on what I want to read. And the last thing that I think really stood in my way is the reading more than one book at a time thing. I'm not great with that. I remember saying that at some point, so maybe I give that a little bit of practice and kick next year's BookTube-a-Thon ass, possibly. So I know, watching from other people's wrap-ups, that I'm not alone, that everybody meets and faces their own challenges throughout something like BookTube-a-Thon, and I've enjoyed watching them, and I don't truly feel bad. It is what it is. So hopefully you did better than me. If not, hey, you live and you learn, right? We'll do better next year. Let me know what your BookTube-a-Thon experience was if you haven't filmed your own wrap-up video. And I will see you all very soon.